books so much. These are so good. Okay. Hello my loves, and thank you for joining me. It's Kirsten and we're at the start of a new weekly reading vlog, and I have actually already started 2 books and I'm so excited for both of them. Like, I'm enjoying both. We'll start off with the one that I started last week, which is my ebook, and I'm reading A Perilous Undertaking by Dana Rayborn. This is the 2nd book in the Veronica Speedwell series and I'm loving it. I'm only up to chapter 3, so I'm really not far into it. Yeah, I love this series. I love Veronica as a character and I love her interactions with Stoker. Like, it's just so much fun. So Veronica is someone that is a butterfly scientist. There is an actual official word for it, I just can't pronounce it, and she's very forward thinking for her time. So the time that this book is set in, we're kind of drawing on like Jane Austen's sensibilities, that sort of time period. So way in the past, where women were expected to marry and have children and that's it. Them being more forward thinking and taking control of their lives, making their own decisions, is very much frowned upon. And Veronica does all those things. She travels on her own, she has dalliances with men outside of England. She is such a firm advocate for women taking control of their lives, going forward, and I love it. I love Veronica as a character. When we meet her in the first book, her aunts have both passed away and she is getting tangled up in this mystery, and someone that she meets then shortly dies after meeting her, and we end up following Veronica as they try and solve this murder mystery alongside Stoker. And Stoker is also a naturalist, but he specialises in mammals. They are so funny together. Like, I love their interactions with one another. I'm just having a great time. It is such a good series. It is one of those things where I could honestly do a video just talking about this series and books that if you like these books, this is what you could go for. Like, I have so many books that fit this kind of niche. If you're interested in that video, please let me know, because I genuinely have a lot of them. They're a lot of fun. They range from adult and YA, but they all have this kind of same setup of book, the same headstrong female main character. Like, it just works. Each book is still different and I like that about it, but they explore similar things. So if you are interested in that, where I have those recommendations, then yeah, let me know. So that's the ebook I'm going to be reading. I'm probably not going to be picking it back up until about Wednesday, because that's when I'm back at work, and that's going to be my lunchtime book read. Very excited for that. But we have a physical book too, actually. We do have Poison by Ben Hubbard. This is exploring the history of potions, powders and murderous practitioners. This is a non-fiction book and I've been reading about 10 to 20 pages a day. I've only got 60 pages left of this book, so I'm assuming I'm going to get this finished this week. And we're up to 20th century poisons and we're looking at Hitler and the atrocities that were committed during that time. So I'm up to quite a difficult part. When it's further in the past, I think it's easy to have more of a separation between it, but this is coming up to more, as I said, modern day, so it's a little bit more hard hitting, but I do find it interesting. Like, I genuinely find this so interesting. This is a really good starter book if you're interested in learning about different aspects of history where they've used these poisons and different main historical events that have happened to do with poisons. It only gives a brief overview. It doesn't go in depth to anything, but I'm enjoying this because I'm folding pages on things where I'm like, oh, actually I would like to learn more about this, so I'm going to find more books on that. Like, it does talk about what happened in Salem and the fact that lots of people were killed for witchcraft when actually it could have just been this poisoning from this herb. It's an introductory book. If you're going into this already knowing a base bit about poisons and our history, then it's probably not going to be that helpful for you. But if you're like me, where I went into it knowing nothing, this is really good. It gives a nice overview and an avenue for you to go, oh, I like this, I'm going to explore more of this. And then the final book, I should have said I actually started 3 books, but the final book I have started is the main book I want to read for this week, and that is The Name of the Rose by Umberto Eco. Now, you're going to see after this update or intro, very long intro, I know, some b-roll of me starting this last night, because I finished the book I was reading last week in last week's vlog, and I was like, you know what, it was good, but I really want to start this book. Like, I've been thinking about it since I read a small paragraph of this at the start of March, and I haven't stopped thinking about it. And I was like, I could wait until I start this vlog or I could just start it and we'll just put the b-roll in afterwards. And so that's what we're doing. This is really good. So this is a Italian classic that has been translated by William Weaver, and this is set in 1327. It's a really interesting setup. Like, I'm loving the setup. You start the book where someone goes, I found this manuscript, and this manuscript doesn't seem to truly exist properly, and it all seems to be kind of hushed up. There's been different translations but nothing solid. Like, it's an unusual setup, and so I became obsessed with this. Here is my translation of this manuscript. And then we get into the story, which is someone else that's writing down the story of the events that happened and looking back on the past. I think it's a great thing. It's like one of those Russian dolls where it's inside one another, and I love that as a setup. I think it's really interesting. So we're following this assistant to Brother William, is a monk who is kind of in training with him, and he's following Brother William, and they end up at this monastery, Italian abbey, I should say. Brother William's just there to look more into theology, but when they arrive there, the abbot goes up to Brother William and is like, actually, I need your help. Somebody has died here and I suspect foul play. Because Brother William is almost like this Sherlock Holmes type character. He has such good observational skills that he can infer things from what he sees. And his conclusions are pretty much spot on. And he's renowned for this. So the abbot's like, hey, I need your help. It's good. I really like it. It's kind of creepy. I've started doing some annotations. So I've got my tabbing system. I also have moments like this because there is a lot of Latin in here, and so those moments are where I have translated the Latin. Not me personally, I have had to look this up. And I did read the back of the book where the author goes, there's a lot of Latin in this, and my editor did say maybe we should just translate this and not have the Latin in there, and I don't want to do that because that's not my problem. And I was like, fair. Like, that was so funny. I'm in the mood to do that, so it works. If I wasn't in the mood to go to Google and actually have this book be more of a dedication, like I've got to put time into this book, then I wouldn't be enjoying it. But because I'm really excited to do that, I'm enjoying it. It's really working. But let's go into the tabs. So we have my little key at the moment. This may change around because this is such a big book. It may change, so I've decided to keep it on just this little piece of paper. So we have orange, and that is for comments about society and the devil. This is a book, I mean, it's set at a monastery. It's set in 1327 where there was lots of suspicion and everyone was deeply religious. Christianity had its foothold. So there is a lot of discussions about religion, about God. There are a lot of outdated opinions in this book about women being, you know, the root of all evil. But because of the time it's set and stuff, it makes sense. It works with the setting. If they didn't have that, then it wouldn't work. What I do like is that William, so although we're not seeing his perspective, we're seeing his, I'm going to call him an assistant. He's an assistant monk perspective of William. But William does argue these things, and I like that. Not in a way that he is then going to be denounced as a radical, but in a way that goes, yes, I don't personally agree with this, but we'll agree to disagree. And I enjoy that. I like the different conversations about it. Now there's lots of different tabs, extra tabs I could have done. I've decided not to do them. One I could have done on the conversations about religion, theory behind it all, the beliefs behind it all, like all of I could have done a whole separate tab just for that. And I also could have done a separate tab for historical moments. I'm going to call him Adso. I think I'm mispronouncing that name. Our narrator that is writing this manuscript that has then been translated by the person. I lost my train of thought completely. I genuinely don't know. But yeah, orange is to do with society, the devil, and how... Let me do a quote. This is going to be easier. So William said, oh, that's what I was saying. So Adso is the person that we're following, like is our narrator, follows William around and is then narrating what William says and does in this book. So we don't know everything that goes on in William's mind because we're only getting Adso's perspective of it all. But William says, who am I to express judgments on the plots of the evil one? The whole populace, perhaps the accused themselves, truly wanted to feel the presence of the devil. There, perhaps, the only real proof of the presence of the devil was the intensity with which everyone at that moment desired to know he was at work. And he's talking about why he gave up being an inquisitor. And there's a lot of conversations about that, about how the inquisitor is following what they believe to be true, and so will torture it out of people that doesn't make it true. So I like that. So that's kind of what Orange is looking at, those sort of commentaries. Then we have green for just quotes I love. There have been some absolutely gorgeous quotes. So like, I'm not going to do this every time I update, but this one was gorgeous. So Adso is talking about why he's not going to indulge in descriptions of people, although he then does. He was reading something and someone says, "Nothing is more fleeting than external form, which withers and alters like the flowers of the field in the appearance of autumn." I really liked that. I loved that. It was so gorgeous. Then the last tab I've got is mystery and sinister. So we're looking at the mystery that is going on, the sinister things. And I like that because we're also getting a bit of foreshadowing. So we get this moment where Adso is talking about William and saying he did a disservice to his reputation as a clever man. But the next morning, "But curb your patience, garrulous tongue of mine, for on the day of which I am telling, and before it's night, many more things happened that it would be best to narrate." So you know something's coming, and I like that because it builds the anticipation. So yeah, I'm loving this. It is really wordy. Like, there was a whole description of a door for 3 pages. No, it was like 5 pages. 5 pages of a door. And there has been the longest sentence I have ever read. It was 16 lines long, like 16 lines of text without a full stop. But I also love this, like I really am enjoying it. It's gonna take dedication to read it. I'm gonna have to make sure I'm really in the mood to focus on it, but I think I've picked the perfect week for this because I've got a few days off and then I go on to my late shifts, so I can put the time into this book, and I think it's gonna be such a good read, so I'm really intrigued to see where that's gonna go. So yeah, those are all the books that I'm reading this week. This was a really long introduction. I'm so sorry. We're at the 15-minute mark, but because I'd already started this, like I knew it was going to be a longer introduction. Like, I've spoken about 3 books, all of them I started. That's what we're reading this week. I'm enjoying it. It is such a good time. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this vlog. Let me know what you've been up to, what you're reading, if you've read these books. I am so excited for these. It's going to be such a good reading week. But before I get back into reading, I've got lots of filming I want to do this morning, so I'm going to have a drink and get started. I feel like I've already been talking for ages because I've already wrapped up last week's vlog, started this one, which is so long, the introduction of this, and then of course I've got the other videos I want to film. I've got a stack of books behind me. It's going to be a good day, so let's just get on with it all. Like I say, I hope you're all doing really well. I hope you enjoy this video, and I will catch up with you probably in a couple days' time. My reading plans for this vlog. I'm still going to continue reading Name of the Rose. I've been loving this book. It is so interesting. I'm really enjoying the different discussions and debates they get into about religion and like the different finer points of religion and different people's viewpoints can mean, and I really enjoy that. Like, I'm loving the discussions. I actually added in another tab tab because there was a lot of talk about art and religion, and I really enjoyed that. I like seeing that relationship being explored in here. Because I'm enjoying this so much, I don't want to rush read this, and I was thinking about the fact that if I broke the book down like I normally do, and if I read like 86 pages a day, I can get this finished by the end of the week. But I'm going back to work tomorrow, and I do a lot in the mornings before work as it is, and while I will be able to put aside probably an hour each morning to read, that's not actually going to be long enough to read the 86 pages because of the fact that I'm annotating and I'm taking the time to translate the Latin in here. And I don't want to not do those things. Like, I'm loving this. I'm really enjoying the experience of reading this because you have the combination of things that I'm really enjoying. You have the debate within religion and how the different monks, they have different perspectives on it, and seeing their debates, their heated arguments, and the different things that they quote to support each side of the argument is really interesting. And then I'm also loving the actual murder mystery that's going on, the sense of unease that's building, the different things we're finding out about this abbey and the monks that go there. Like, I'm loving it. I'm really, really enjoying this. So I don't want to rush read it, and I've decided I'm not going to. So this may go into next week's vlog as well to finish it up, and I don't really mind about that. I would rather take my time and really enjoy this than rush read it and therefore not be able to enjoy the process that I've been taking. Like, I've taken this so slowly and I've loved it. So yeah, I'm really, really pleased that I'm taking my time with this and that I'm enjoying it, and that I've made that decision that I'm not going to force myself to finish this week. It does mean the other book I have to read for the month is Empire of the Vampire by J. Kristoff, and this is a chunky book, and I don't know. Well, I was thinking to myself, if I read The Name of the Rose this week, finish that, then I can read Emperor of the Vampire next week, get them finished. Instead, I'm going to read both of them this week because I actually have Empire of the Vampire on Kindle. I picked it up for 99p, and I'm really pleased I did because that means I can have that as my lunch book while I'm reading Name of the Rose, and then when I finish Name of the Rose I can then finish Empire of the Vampire and have that be my physical and Kindle book, so that I get both of these done because I really want to read both of these. I actually just heard Becca talking about it. She was doing an unboxing video and she picked up a few different editions of the second book that's just come out, which is Empire of the Dam, and she basically said it's Name of the Wind but with vampires, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I really want to read this. This one is the one that was for you to vote on of my TBR game. It was between this and a Frankenstein inspired book, and it was so close. And then I had a couple of people comment in Discord saying we're a bit late and we don't know if you've already closed the voting on that, but if we could vote we would choose this one. And I did include those votes because I hadn't started either book, and yeah, it won by literally one vote. It was ridiculously tight, but I'm really excited to give this one a try. It has been really recommended, and I don't know, I'm just really feeling it. My edition has some gorgeous illustrations in, so I'm really excited to give this one a try, and then I'll get the second book when it comes out in paperback because I like my editions to match. I don't like having different hype books and things like that. It bothers me. It's a weird thing, but it bothers me. Gorgeous illustrations. I don't know who these people are. Hopefully that's not spoilers for anything, but I don't know who they are anyway, so guess we're gonna find out. But yeah, I'm really excited, so that's my decision. So today I would like to read a bit more of Name of the Rose because I'm loving this one, and then tomorrow when I'm at work I am going to start Empire of the Vampire and have it be my Kindle book to read on my lunch breaks at work, because I don't actually like taking a physical book into work. I prefer reading on my Kindle at work. It's actually easier when you're eating food to read on your Kindle because you don't have to try and hold the book and eat. It's the little things, I know, but yeah, so that's what we're gonna do, which probably means that this week I'm not finishing a book. I'm sorry if it bothers you. This is the way I want to do it. I want to read both of these. I don't want to rush either of these, so we're gonna read both of them over the next couple of weeks. That's the plan. Hopefully you don't mind. But yeah, I'm so excited and I'm loving this. Like, just look how many tabs I've got going in just this first bit. Like, it's ridiculous, and I've got so many like little post-it notes for the bits that I'm translating. Like, I'm having the best time with this. So yeah, I'm very pleased. I do have some editing I need to do today, so I've got to get on and do that, but yeah, I definitely want to read more of Name of the Rose. That's the change of reading plans. Hopefully you don't mind. It does mean I won't be reading A Perilous Undertaking this week, which I'm a little bit disappointed about because I love that book, but I also know, I say I love that book, I love the series. I haven't actually read that book. I haven't read any more of that. Just this makes more sense to me, so I don't feel so stressed in trying to get my TBR finished. And Perilous Undertaking's not on my TBR, it was just an extra book just because. And instead I'm just going to read that after I've read Empire of the Vampire. Okay, right, I'm now repeating myself and rambling. I've had a nice day. What have I been up to the last couple of days? Honestly, just busy editing. Went out for lunch with my partner earlier. We had really nice ramen, so that was good. And yeah, just busy getting lots of stuff done. But none of it, like, I don't know, it's one of those times where you're so busy catching up on things, it also feels like you haven't done anything. Anyway, I'm rambling. Let's get on with my day, and I will update you when I've read more and when I've started Empire of the Vampire. I'm really excited for this book. I've heard really good things, so... loving these books so much. These are so good. Okay, let's talk about the book Name of the Rose. I am really enjoying this. However, the last 50 pages that I've read, I'm now up to page 248. I had to stop in the middle of a chapter because I had to go to work, but I stopped at like a chapter break, so it's not too bad. The last 50 pages have been particularly dry and dense. So this book has the murder mystery plot. You have that going on in the background. However, not every single chapter is to do with the murder. I am enjoying it. I'm enjoying kind of the hints that we're getting of something that the monks kind of believe is happening, and also the fact that their library is so forbidden to go into, and you have to like go through this weird way of requesting books. Some of your requests can be refused, and the fact that when our characters do get into the library, it is like a labyrinth. It is designed to confuse, and it's this puzzle that they're trying to work out, and I really like that. I think it's really good. But then you get chapters that are broken up of all of that going on that is about the history, so we will talk about the politics and what it's like for priests and stuff at this time and the power that they hold and the way things are changing. So you'll get that as the history notes, and then you'll get the theological debates about religion. Now I do enjoy the theological debates, but obviously some of the debates are going to be a bit more dry than others, and the last debate that we'd had I did find a little bit more dry, but I'm still enjoying it. Like, I can still enjoy a book that is a little bit dry and dense at times if the writing is really well done and I am intrigued by what they're saying. I'm liking it. There are slow moments in here. I'm planning to read a good chunk of this today because I'm going to get my nails done, and then I've decided instead of coming back home after getting my nails done, I'm just going to stay out. I'm going to go have some lunch out and I'm going to read my book. I haven't decided if I'm going to read at the coffee shop or if I'm going to read a bit there and then move to the library. I think it depends how busy it is, and then I'll head off to work. So I'm hoping I should get a good chunk of this book read, maybe about 100 pages. That would be awesome. But again, I'm not really pushing it. Like, if I don't reach 100 pages, I don't care. I'm loving this. Just look how beautiful this looks with all the tabs. Like, it's so pretty. I'm enjoying it so much. So yeah, this is a really good time. I'm having a lot of fun with this, and yes, there are some drier, slower moments, which was the last bit I read, but it still isn't enough for me to be like, oh, I don't like this. Like, I'm still enjoying it. I still find it so interesting, the different debates that they have. And then we have Empire of the Vampire, and this I'm reading on my Kindle at work. Oh god, I'm loving it so much. I'm enjoying this book so much. So I am up to book 2 chapter 2 page 112. It's so good. Like, I'm having so much fun. I'm so surprised at how much I'm loving this book. I honestly thought that last week's read, The Will of the Many, I was going to adore and it was going to be a new favourite book. And I thought that this one I was going to like but not particularly love. It's the other way around completely. I liked The Will of the Many but didn't particularly love it, and I am loving this book. I am so pleased by how much I am enjoying this book, because I've tried J. Kristoff before but I didn't like Nevernight. That was many years ago, but I wasn't that much of a fan. This book is so good though. So you have this beautiful decadent writing, but you've got it mixed in with lots of swear words, so it's like it will be gorgeous, sumptuous writing, descriptions, absolutely stunning, and then you'll have our main character Gabriel going, and they effing did this, and I'm just like, wait, what? But I like the mix. I like the mix of the vulgarity with this gorgeous writing style. It just seems to really work. It makes it feel a bit more real and lived in, and I like that. And just in general, the way this book is formatted, I'm really enjoying. So we're following Gabriel. Gabriel is the last of the Silver Saints, who are a brotherhood of half human, half vampires who are dedicated to killing vampires. He is in a prison. We don't know how he's ended up there, but he is then approached by this vampire who wants to record his story, wants to record his life. And at first Gabriel's like, no, I'm not interested in this. But then something happens where he's like, okay, fine, you win. I will do this. I will tell you my story. And he starts at the beginning, from when he was a young child and he's first joining this brotherhood and he first finds out that he is part human, part vampire. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. It's gritty, it's heartfelt, like I just instantly got sucked in. And then book 2, we've actually had a bit of a time jump to 3 years ago. But I actually don't mind the time jump, so normally I can be a bit fussy with my time jump. I feel like it's really working because it gives you intrigue and interest into the story, and there's no chance of you really getting bored, because as much as some things can get bored, so like at the Brotherhood we just started, where he's just been initiated, he's going to be starting all of his training, and sometimes that can get a bit boring, like we've seen it done many a time. To then have it jump just as he's been accepted and initiated and you've seen some of the background things that are going on, makes it a lot more interesting, because you're then going 3 years later, and well, it's many years later, but 3 years from when Gabriel's telling his story. Anyway, there's a big time jump, and it's just... Hang on a minute, cat wants to come in. All done. Okay, what was I saying? Oh yeah, the time jump. It just makes it feel so, I don't know, much more intriguing, because I now want to know, well, what happened in all of those years from when you first joined the Brotherhood to now. We've had so much happen, and they allude to it in the present, allude to the fact that he's done all these great things, the fact that he's fallen from grace, and I really want to know why? Why have these things happened? Why have you fallen from grace? Gabriel does say, because our person that's recording it goes, no, that's not the way a story works. The story works from the start to the ending, and you're meant to go in a nice timely order. And Gabriel's like, dude, this is my story. If you want it from me, you're going to get it how I'm telling you, and we will circle back to things, and eventually everything will all come together, but you're just going to have to be patient. And I like that. I like the fact that J. Kristoff is playing with the way a traditional story is done, and I love it. I love this writing technique anyway, of somebody recording someone else's life story. Like, it's a pretty common enough thing. You have it in Name of the Wind, also in Interview with the Vampire. Like, I enjoy that, and I actually think those two books are a good comparison for this book, because it does feel almost Name of the Wind-esque, but I prefer Gabriel as a character. He's got a lot more flaws, a lot more things like this, which I feel like makes them more relatable. You know, honestly, for a book that I was really like, I'm not gonna like this, I am adoring this. Also, beautiful illustrations, which we do still get in the Kindle version, so I'm really pleased with that. And I did check and they're all in the right placement, so I really like that. It's just a really good book. Like, I'm really loving this. There is a couple of extra things. So we've got a lot of talk about God in here. So the Brotherhood of the Silver Saints, they are warriors for God, and as much as they are damned because they are half vampire, half human, they are trying to redeem themselves by going against the monsters that have been created. And there is a lot of talk about religion in here, and I'm really enjoying that, because Name of the Rose, obviously there's been lots of theological debates about religion, and seeing some of those debates reflected in this book is really good. Like how a lot of this is out of fear for God rather than love for God, and there is a whole debate about that in here. And I just think these two books paired together is the perfect pairing, because you've got themes that kind of interweave with one another, and it makes the enjoyment of when they're talking about God and the Almighty and everything in here so much more enjoyable, because I can also pull comparisons from this book. It's really good. Like, I'm loving this. This is so good. I did make some notes just in case there was anything I forgot to mention. So let me just check, because I was enjoying this so much yesterday. So Name of the Rose, yeah, we've said all of that. Emperor of the Vampire, exactly. Nope, that's fine. I've got all of them done. So that's great. I love that. It's so good. I'm having such an amazing time, and I think I needed it, because honestly, after The Will of the Many, I needed a book I knew I was going to love. And I knew I was going to like Name of the Rose because I read the first paragraph of this at the very start of the month and then decided to save it. It's really good. I'm loving it. I'm so happy with it. And I was just dubious about this, but I really wanted a fantasy book that I can really enjoy, and this is so good. Like, I love the writing. I love the way it's set up. I love everything about this book. So yeah, I'm so pleased that my dad finally convinced me to get this book, because he's been going on about it since it first came out, and I was always unsure purely based on the author. I knew that the setup and everything I should like. I normally love vampire books, so I knew that it had the promise that it could be a book I really liked, but I thought because I don't like J. Kristoff's writing, I'm not going to enjoy it, and how wrong I am. Like, this is so good. It feels so different to Nevernight, and it also shows like how much they've matured as an author, in my personal belief. This is great. So I will be reading more of this on my lunch break at work. Honestly, it's so hard to put down. I just don't want to put it down. I just want to keep going. Also, it's hilarious that I've read 100 pages and look how little of the book I've actually made progress with. But yeah, this is fantastic. I can understand why so many people have been obsessed with this, and I have a few people in Discord that are either rereading this or going to get like recaps of this book because they're going on to book 2, and I'm just loving it. It's just so good. Thank you to everyone that voted for this book for me to read, because I am adoring it. Today I have a busy day, actually. I think I already mentioned, pretty sure I did, going to get my nails done, and then, oh, I did mention, you already know what the plans are, but I'm going to be taking Name of the Rose with me. I'm going to try and read a good chunk of this, and then I will continue this one as a Kindle book. I actually do want to annotate this. There have been moments in the Kindle that I've been highlighting because I really like the writing style. However, because I'm not reading this one physically until I finish Name of the Rose. Once I finish Name of the Rose, I will go to reading this physically. I don't know if I want to just be tabbing the end of the book. Like, I'm not that sort of person. And as much as I would love to say to you, oh, I'm going to go back over the things that I highlighted in the first 100 pages on my Kindle and put them into here, I can, but I didn't highlight everything I would have annotated, and it would take me a bit of time to do. I don't know. I might do it anyway because I have the time in the coffee shop before work, but at the same time I really want to make a good chunk of this read, so I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, you can tell I'm enjoying a book because if I'm wanting to annotate it, it's normally a really good time for me. And not every single book do I want to annotate that I then still enjoy, but generally speaking, if I'm annotating a book, it's because I'm really getting a lot of thoughts about it, I'm really feeling pulled in, and it's going to be a book that I keep. I do not keep books, like if I feel like I'm not going to keep the book or I'm not going to reread it, I wouldn't bother annotating a book, because those are books that I normally pass on. So I don't want to be giving them to people when they've got loads of annotations, because it's not something that everybody likes. But if it's going to more than likely stay in my collection for a while, I'm going to be annotating. So yeah. Anyway, that was a massive tangent, but I do need to get on and get ready. What is the time actually? Because I still haven't had breakfast. I like, oh, I've got time. I've got time for breakfast and a chai latte, so I'm going to do that. I'm actually going to take my journal out and about as well. So I've been journaling every single day and I'm loving that. I haven't journaled first thing this morning. I did yesterday, but I'm thinking to actually journal out in a coffee shop, and that would be really nice. I've got so much that I want to do in a coffee shop / library today. It's ridiculous, but I think I will have the time because I'm pretty sure I will have at least 2.5 hours before I need to go to work, which will be a perfect time to eat my food and journal and then have time to read. But right, okay, I'm waffling. I'm gonna stop waffling. I'm having such a good time. Oh, the reading time is good. But right, I've really got to stop. I need some breakfast. We'll get on with the day and I will update you when I've read more. It's so good. It's so good. going to be a super quick update because I've actually got to leave for work in less than 10 minutes, but the house has finally gone quiet so I can do an update. Things are getting dire at certain points when I'm trying to update videos and film videos. Anyway, I'm not going to get into tangents and rants about that. Instead, let's talk about the books. So I did read quite a nice chunk of Name of the Rose yesterday. As you saw, I had my new nails done, which are really like green and cool, and they look different depending on how the light hits them. Really happy with that. And I sat down at a coffee shop after getting my nails done and read for a couple of hours. So I got up to page 331. I'm not sure what day we're on anymore. I haven't been keeping track of that, but I've enjoyed it. I've added more tabs and it's just been a really good time. I do wish in a way we had a little bit more focus on the murder mystery aspects. I feel like if we actually just focused on the murder mystery that was going on, then this book would probably be maybe a third of the size of this book, but I am enjoying it. There is a little scene that happens with our monk Asdo, who is kind of like the novice. That was a lot of fun and it was very kind of entertaining to read. Didn't expect it, but it was really interesting to see how that act was viewed upon by William, the monk that he is following around, and I am enjoying it. Like, I like the aspects of the way William is, the way he questions everything. There was a recent quote actually. Asdo is asking him, but you're still very far from the solution to what's going on. And William says, I am very close to one, but I don't know which. And then Asdo's like, excuse me, you don't have a single answer to your question? And he was like, no, but that's okay. And then Asdo's getting a little bit like chatting back and stuff. It's quite funny actually. He says, and you, I said with childish impertinence, never commit any errors. Often, William answered. But instead of conceiving only one, I imagine many, so I become the slave of none. So William's kind of doing Asdo's nut in, because instead of having a set like, aha, I think it's this and this is my reasoning, instead he's like, oh, but it could be this and it could be that and it could be this. And I guess we're not going to know until more things happen. And Asdo's like, really? We're trying to be solving this stuff and you're just coming out with theories left, right and centre. Like, what one is it? It's quite fun and entertaining and I do enjoy it. And like I say, I do enjoy the debates on religion and the different aspects, but I do think this book is more about talking about the theology behind religion and the different discussions, different ways things can be interpreted, plus adding in history for the time and the different political landscape that's going on, than it is the murder mystery. We've just kind of got that in the background, but I do enjoy it when it comes up. So yeah, so I've read a little bit more of that, and then this morning I spent a bit of time adding tabs to Empire of the Vampire. So since I last spoke to you, I did read an extra 100 pages. I'm now up to book 3, chapter 4, House of the Dead, and we're up to page 205. I am really enjoying this. It looks like with book 3 we're going back to the past. So book 1 was in the past, where we're seeing Gabriel come to the Brotherhood, come to be first initiated. Book 2 was 3 years in the past to when he is telling his tale, and then book 3 is going back to the past when he was in training, and we're seeing him his first time going out into the field and dealing with a situation where a vampire is involved, although they call them cold bloods. And I am really enjoying it, but I just wanted to talk about my tabbing system actually. So I've got 4 different tabs on the go. So this pale one I have got for addiction. So Gabriel is addicted to this substance that allows him to unlock his half vampire side. I think the way that J. Kristoff depicts addiction is really, really good. I'm honestly impressed with how well it's done. I mean, I say that I don't have an addiction, I haven't been addicted to anything, but from the way it's written, it really conveys the horror and yet also need for this substance. I then have a dark green, and this is for moments of despair, things that have just gone terribly, terribly wrong, or talking about just melancholy, moments of just pure, utter grief, and talking about grief and how we deal with that, and I like it. I think that again is done really well. Then I've got light blue, and this is for talk about religion, talks about God, questioning God and what, you know, why are they allowing this to happen, things like this, and also comments about how religion is more about fear rather than actual faith, and you know, you're in fear of being cast down. You're in fear of these things rather than your faith being because you believe. Like, it's an interesting discussion, mainly one that I'm exploring more because I've been reading Name of the Rose and reading all these different debates around religion. And then the final one is this dark red, and that is for quotes that I love because that is my classic that I have, and I'm really enjoying it. Like, it's lovely. It's not as heavily annotated as Name of the Rose. I'm really enjoying annotating both of these. I'm having a really good time. I do plan on reading more, so what I've been doing is on my Kindle, obviously I highlight things, and then I can look at my highlight, replicate that in the book, which is really good. The only thing I haven't been doing is color coding my highlights on my Kindle to match what I'm doing here. That's fine, I can just attach the tab to that. So yeah, nice quick update. I really wanted to get it done while I've got a quiet moment, and I'm probably going to come in and wrap up this vlog on Monday. Yeah, I think Monday morning, and then we'll start another one. I mean, in a way, technically this is going to be the same vlog, it's just going to be split for the weeks, but I didn't want to do a 2-week long vlog just to finish these books. Like, that's not me, and that video would be horrendously long. I mean, these videos are always just shy of an hour as it is, let alone doing a 2-week vlog just to finish these books. So no, we're going to wrap it up Monday. I'll obviously update with how much further I've got, if anything interesting's happened in the books and stuff, and then we'll start again Monday for the fresh weekly vlog where we'll be finishing both of these books. But you probably didn't need that tangent. There's probably a bit of background noise because my window is open right now, but I actually do need to rush off to work, and I think I have just about made it in time to do this update and then to quickly get the last of my bits together. So yeah, update is I'm enjoying both books, and we got the tabbing system done for Empire of the Vampire, and I'm really happy with it. I do need to order more tabs though, because these 2 colours are running out already, and I have quite a bit of that book left to go. Like, it's a 700-page book, we've got another 500 pages to go, so I'm going to see if I can find these ones that I used on Amazon. It was a fluke, and I think I favorited, because I normally keep tabs in my wish list, so it's easy for me to reorder. But the ones that I did that last time were the ones that I didn't want to reorder because I favorited the wrong ones. So it's going to be a bit of searching to find the right ones. But yeah, I'm going to try and do that. Anyway, I'm still talking and I do actually need to get to work. So yeah, let's run. And it might actually be a run because I have a 20-minute walk and I think I'm meant to start work in 20 minutes. So wish me luck. I have, well, barely read. Over the last few days I'd planned to do so much reading, but it just didn't happen, and that's okay. I read a little bit more of Empire of the Vampire. I'm now up to chapter 5, is it book 3 or 6, or where am I? Book 4, Light of a Black Sun. We're up to chapter 5. This is page 312, so we're not doing too bad. Didn't read anywhere near as much as what I thought. I honestly expected to come on here having read another 200 pages, and I've barely read 100, and that's fine. You know what, some days are just busier than others, and some days you just don't feel like reading as much, and that's fine, especially because I know I'm bringing this into next week, obviously, because we're here to wrap up the vlog. But yeah, so because I'm bringing this into next week, I'm not extremely bothered that I didn't finish more of it before this update, if that makes sense. I will get back to reading it more today, but you'll see that in next week's vlog, but it stands that I really am enjoying this. We're up to book 4. We're now back in the more recent past, so it does seem like the setup for this book is Gabriel telling his story. Odd numbers are from when he was a lot younger, so his teenage years, and following him as he's growing up, what it was like being trained as a silver saint, and the different things like his friendships, his hardships, enemies, things like that. And I do enjoy those chapters. It's good fun. I enjoy those part of the books. And then the even books are from 3 years ago. And what I like about that is that you get to see a lot of things that are referenced to things that have happened that we haven't seen yet. So it builds that anticipation of what are we going to get next. And I really do like it. I think it's a really good writing technique. I didn't think it would be something I would like, but saying that, I've read a few books that do things like this that I do enjoy. I'm really looking forward to continuing. I have work today, so I'll be continuing this on my lunch break. I do need to put in the tabs for the last chunk I read. So I have two different bookmarks going on. We've got the bookmark of where I'm currently up to and I've read up to, and then I have my tabs to show me the last place I stopped tabbing. So I've got this chunk to go back through the highlights on my Kindle and put tabs in. I do want to put an extra tab in, and I think that's more for Astrid. So Astrid is a side character we get in here who I really like. She is in training to be a nun at the Silver Saint convent, basically. So the way it works is you have the Silver Saints who are in training to vanquish vampires, and then you also have nuns that live there as well who are there more to help look after them, and they also do these like tattoos for the Silver Saints and stuff. Seeing a side character, we don't get her perspective, and I don't think we will because it's all from Gabriel Telling's story, but we see her and we learn more about her, why she's at this convent, why she hates it so much. And Astrid makes a lot of really valid points about how women are treated and the way that they are seen as lesser, how they can't do certain things, and I really enjoy it. She says it in a very blunt terms, but I really like that about her. Like, I really like Astrid. She is a really interesting character. So I'm enjoying that. I think it's good. So I want to put in an extra tab for those points that she makes about women in society and how they're viewed by men, and especially by religion, just because I think that'll be a good one to add in. So I want to do that. But yeah, as it is, I'm really enjoying it. This is really good. Highly recommend. It's just really gripping, really interesting, and I think the way it's written keeps your interest peaked the whole time. So yeah, I'm loving this. Can't wait to continue it. Obviously, like I said, that'll be in next week's vlog. And then we have Name of the Rose, which I don't think I've read anything more since I last updated. No, I'm still on page 331. Again, I was planning to... Yesterday, I was with my partner in the morning, and I'm only reading this in the mornings. I'm not reading this when I'm at work. So I didn't pick it up then. And Saturday... What was I doing Saturday morning? I honestly couldn't tell you. I know I've been busy editing and doing things like this, but I haven't got round to picking this one up. That will be done again today, where I'm going to get back into it. And the same thing with Empire of a Vampire. Because I changed the outlook on trying to get this all finished inside 1 week, I've been taking it slower, and it's enabled me to have a couple of days where I'm not reading as much, and I do like that. Like, don't get me wrong, I love reading, but sometimes you need a break and sometimes you want to do something else, and I have a lot of other hobbies, and obviously creating these YouTube videos, it all takes up time, so it's been really nice to like relax, put on the brakes and be like, okay, cool, we're gonna chill. Because the last couple of weeks of reading have been quite intense, because I have my sci-fi reading week, which I wanted to get all of the sci-fi books finished in that week. I then had The Will of the Many last week, which was a bigger fantasy book, which in all honesty I probably should have taken a little bit slower. Yeah, again with this, like, I've got, I think I worked it out as like 200 and something pages, 240 pages left to go, and again I'll get that done next week and it won't be a problem. So I'm still really enjoying it. I am looking forward to getting back to it. I'm really intrigued to see where it's going to go, because I think especially in this last bit the mystery is going to get ramped up a little bit more, and we'll probably have less on the debate side of things and like the history politics side. So I'm hoping that happens with this, because that'll be really good. Regardless, it's still a good book, but I am wanting a bit more from the mystery at this point, because I feel like we've had it and there's been like bits of it, which is good, but I want more from it right now, because we haven't done that much. Like, there's been interesting things happen with regards to the library and the labyrinth and everything, but I want to see more. So I'm hoping I get that. But again, we'll find out in next week's video. So I haven't actually finished a book this week at all. I'm still reading the Poison non-fiction book that is across the room. I've read a little bit more of that, but I've still got a little bit to go. Again, just haven't been prioritizing it. Like, I have been really enjoying these two other books. So hopefully in next week's vlog, what you're going to see is me finishing both of these and potentially the non-fiction Poison book as well, because I would like to get these done before the end of the month, and next week's vlog will be the last week of March. I'm having a fantastic time. I'm loving annotating both of these. I'm enjoying seeing the crossover of religion in both of these books, and it's just been a really good time, and to be honest I'm really happy that I've taken it slow. Anyway, I'm gonna stop waffling on and rambling, because I do need to start next week's vlog, and yes, you will be getting the same two books, but you know, like I say, sorry if you prefer seeing me finish a book inside one vlog, but it just wasn't the one, and I didn't want to rush read. But I hope you have enjoyed this vlog nonetheless. I hope you've all been doing really, really well. Let me know if you've read either of these and what you think of them. I know a few of you have actually read Empire of the Vampire and really love it, and I can definitely see why. So let me know what you've been up to, what have you been reading and doing with your week. But I think for now we'll leave it there. So thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate each and every single one of you that takes the time to watch these videos, that takes the time to comment and interact. Like, it just means so much. Thank you so much. Honestly, seeing some of your comments and stuff are some of the best parts, because I love seeing your reactions to things and being able to have discussions, different book recommendations and stuff. Like, it's lovely. Anyway, I'm still waffling, so we're gonna go. If you have made it this far, then let's put a little vampire emoji in the comments below if you've made it this far or you just don't know what you want to comment. My social media links and anyone I've mentioned will be linked below for you, and I will of course catch you in the very next video.